Busted. Well, one myth that comes to mind quickly is people come in and say, but hearing aids are kind of expensive, right?
I would agree. I actually think hearing aids are expensive, but I would say the myth is that they're not affordable. Because I actually think there's a difference there. There's a difference between something being expensive and something being affordable.
Right.
What do you think?
For example, we did some quick math, and on a performance product, not a product that's like basic or a product that's an economy product, we're talking a really new product that recently was released, new type of technology, really high performing. So you take the product plus the service and you put them together. That's around $3,500 to $4,000. That's an expense, right?
That's an expense.
You feel that, but when you take that over the life of the device, and most of our patients are 5 to 7 years, so if we even just average it at 6 years, that's right around $2 a day to hear better for those 6 years. And obviously we can think of things that we spend $2 on every day that are way less important than us connecting with our friends, our family, being healthy, maintaining our brain, doing all the right things for our health. There are many more things we spend $2 on every day that are less valuable.
That's how I look at it. I think you can do that math pretty easy, and about $2 a day. We spend that on.
That's a performance device too. It goes down to $1 a day for just more basic.
You're going through the drive-through at Swig. You're going through Fizz. $2 a day. I think there's
Easy.
Lots of people that do stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
To hear better, $2 a day I think is affordable. But is it expensive over the long run when you add it up? Oh yeah.
Sure.
So I would say, are they unaffordable? Busted. I think that myth is busted.
Broken.
Busted.
But another thing that's interesting is most places like our clinic, but other clinics I'm sure do this as well, you can actually pay for them over time to make them more affordable and make that easier to kind of ease that burden. So is it an expense? Yes. Is it completely affordable? Absolutely. So that's myth number one. I'm
glad we're on the same page with that myth.
What's another myth?
Okay, another myth. I'd say another myth is that only old people wear hearing aids.
Right. Commonly technology was so bad for so many years that people, I think, would wait until their hearing was really quite severe before they got help. Just because the old technology, you had to fill up the ear, plug it off because you didn't want it to feedback or whistle and do funny things. And they were kind of large. Let's be honest, the instruments today are a fraction of the size of what they were back in the 70s and 80s and even into the 90s. And so, technology has changed so much that people are getting help much, much sooner.
Yeah, I agree.
Much sooner.
I think there's a stereotype. If you look in the media, pictures, movies, you're going to see the stereotype of the really old person with the gigantic beige banana hearing aid.
Remember the movie
saying,
Up?
I always go back to
he
Up.
He had the big hearing aid in his ear, and I saw that and I was like, boy, I haven't fit anything like that in like 20 years.
Now, to be clear, I love the movie.
Yeah.
To be clear, we love the movie, but it is kind of the stereotype that this is the old person wearing the hearing aid that can't hear right. And I think the reality is we are seeing lots of young, active, healthy people maybe, in their mid-50s, maybe early 60s.
Oh.
These people are movers and shakers. These are people that are active and healthy and living a great life. These are not your classic stereotypical old people.
Yeah, we fit so many more people that are in the working class, that are still dropping kids off at school, doing different things like that. So the idea that hearing devices are only for old people, busted. No way.
That's two myths we busted.
One of the reasons I think too that young people are getting into this is they're seeing the negative effects of hearing loss and dementia, or hearing loss and I am really looking old. Like I actually feel old because I'm not hearing. And so when you're pulling the faces and you're saying, well, what was that? Or you're repeating, people don't want to look like they're not capable, and they don't want to look old. And so getting hearing devices, I think that's helped.
Yeah.
For sure, is just saying, I can't be like my grandpa was. I need to live a life that's different than his. And so they're think people are seeking out help a little quicker.
Because we live in a day and age of so much information, right? Right at our fingertips. You can watch videos, you can get information so much easier. And I think there's lots of people that are getting better information about hearing loss.
Yeah.
You mentioned the dementia connection, the long-term problems with hearing loss. And so I think people are getting help earlier.
What about this idea that I already wear something on my ears and take phone calls?
Yeah.
My buddy has it, my wife does it. I see people folding laundry and sweeping garages, and they're out on walks, and people have things in their
AirPods,
ears. Yeah.
Bluetooth headsets.
So there's one that I think that's one thing that helps us feel younger, is that the fact that other people are wearing ear level devices to assist in their daily activities. So hearing devices, when they came out with this advent of Bluetooth in the hearing devices, I think that really softened the idea that, a lot of people are wearing things in their ears as part of their quality of life and as part of just making their life better. And so I think Bluetooth maybe took the the acceptance of, I can wear a hearing device. My buddy is,
I agree. You know what? If I could predict the future a little bit.
Ooh.
I don't know. It's just kind of fun.
Okay.
Because I might be way off here. But I actually think that we're going to be connecting to things via ear level devices, the Bluetooth thing.
Right.
I think that's going to be way more common with this AuraCast thing that's coming.
Right.
I think we're going to be tapping into TVs, tapping into speakers. We're going to be tapping into stuff all the time. In fact, so here's my prediction.
Your prediction.
I think that normal hearing people are going to be wearing things like hearing aids, kind of like these Bluetooth headsets regularly, and they're going to be using it to tap into Bluetooth and enhance their hearing. I think,
you heard it here first.
The days of hearing aids being weird or wearing something in your ear being weird, I think they're going away. I think wearing things in your ears is going to become the norm.
You know what going away sounds like to me? Busted.
That's 2 myths down.
2 myths down. We've got a third myth. So another myth is that maybe someone might ask the question after acknowledging, I need hearing devices. How much do they cost? I don't want to feel old. They go through this. And then another one is my hearing device going to squeal? Have you ever heard that?
Well, yeah. So I think a common misconception, a common myth is that hearing aids squeal. They make noise all the time. And the truth is, they used to.
Yeah.
When I was in school, when I was first exposed to hearing aids, which is, coming up on 20 years ago, hearing aids would squeal a lot. In fact, it was commonly one of the top problems that people had with their hearing aids, is that when I wear my hearing aids, they squawk, they squeal, they whistle. It's embarrassing.
Come in for a hug and
yeah.
Ooh,
so
okay, no hug for you. I'm whistling.
Did it used to be real?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it used to be real, but it's really not a problem anymore.
I'll speak to that quickly. Hearing devices, the little processors, think of them as a little computer circuit. They have become much faster. And with the speed of the processor being much quicker, the algorithms that go into taking a sound that's leaking out and re-amplifying through the microphone, which ordinarily would cause feedback, because the speed is so much better, these algorithms that take the signal and literally take them out of phase quickly, it almost just clips it out. It just shuts it down. And so the feedback suppression, the feedback managers that are built into hearing devices are way better. I mean, they are like 50 million times better, it seems like, than what they were in 2001 and 2 and 3. And so I think just the quickness, the speed is much, much better. Microphone quality, much, much better. The way that the tip sits in your ear, the depths, there's different things that we've seen happen. But I think the biggest one is probably just hearing devices have become smarter and they've become quicker.
The technology is so much better, right? Because the squealing happens when the sound that should be reaching your eardrum leaks out.
Yep.
And then it gets picked up by the device again. That's the feedback loop. And so when hearing aids...
It's kind of like taking two microphones and when you get them too close to each other, they're amplifying the same thing and it creates this
squealy sound.
Squawk.
And it's when hearing aids first tried to be open, which was about 20 years ago.
Yeah,
they thought, hey, we don't want to plug an ear, because a lot of people have a lot of normal hearing, just some frequencies need help. And so they thought, hey, what if we don't plug the ear? Well, then tons of sound would leak out, get re-amplified, squeal like crazy. But they came up with the technology, like you're talking about, these algorithms they use. Sound travels as a wave, of course. And so if you have a wave that's exactly opposite in phase, it cancels it out and there's no sound. They've been able to do some remarkable things.
Remarkable.
And really, when was the last time that was a major issue, I mean, for you? We hear it every once in a while.
Right.
But I would say so seldom.
One of the things that we're talking about here with this once in a while it could happen is typically if the fit is not appropriate. For example, the patient just was in a hurry and they put it in quickly, but they didn't get it in where it should be, where it calibrates down a little bit deeper. That could create a little feedback if it's out quite a bit just because of a kind of an awkward moment of I didn't quite get my hearing device in, where it should be. Another one is that when we calibrate a hearing device, the hearing device sits in your ear canal, and it should sit a certain depth. There should be a depth to it. But if your ear canal changes, for example, if wax builds up and all of a sudden the volume of 1.3 is all of a sudden 0.8, so the volume went from this big to this big, that also takes your little hearing device out of phase and it's not calibrated right, and you can get a little bit of feedback. So it is true that every once in a while a patient may come in and say, hey, I'm just now starting to notice a little like sensitivity when I got in my bathroom and I got close to the wall, my hearing device squawked at me, and it never does that. So naturally we clean the wax out, recalibrate, problem solved. So yeah.
I'm comfortable saying feedback can be an occasional minor issue.
Right.
But is this a big problem with hearing aids?
Nope.
It just isn't.
Not anymore.
So I'm saying
constant,
busted.
Yep, busted. Constant irritant, goodbye. So that's a good one.
Then we could bust some myths.
Yeah, those are
been fun busting myths with you.